Welcome, Drew Greenblatt. He is the president of Marlin Steel and a good friend of ours. Drew, good to see you. Thanks for coming back. How many times have you been? You've been to the White House almost more than you've been here.
Twice this week and once last month.
Are they listening?
You know, I think they're trying to explain to small business people their perspective and how they believe they're contributing to the success of the American economy. However, I think there's some challenges that's going on in the American economy that need to be addressed, and some of the impediments that we're feeling and facing is because of some of the things they've created. And I think it would be helpful for our economy if they were to make our system easier to grow and thrive.
Well, and, you know, the fact is that one of your messages is taxes are too high, or taxes should be coming down. We had their chief economic advisor, Mr. Kruger, coming out yesterday and saying the way to get the economy going again is to raise the tax rates, tax rates under. I mean, it's exactly the opposite of what you guys are going there and telling them.
Right. I had an exchange with Secretary Bryson on Wednesday, in particular, with him, and I described to him that our tax rates are so uncompetitive. Like, for example, in Canada, their tax rates are 18% and falling down to 15%, and that includes health insurance. However, our tax rates for a small factory, they're up in the 40% range. That doesn't include state taxes. So what happens is jobs that should happen in America are lost to Canadian factories or German or French factories. All these factories are cheaper to operate. American factories have a 20% cost differential versus our global competitors.
Right.
This is because our torts laws are so, the tort lawyers are running crazy. This is because the regulations are oppressive in our country. And what's happening is this hurts the American worker. It makes it not a level playing field. We don't have the same kind of advantages. Our factory workers don't have the same kind of advantages as in other factories.
Well, I think, Drew, the one bone that they are going to throw to you and to other businesses in the country, they are going to lower the corporate tax rate. I predict that this administration, even though they've just been jawboning about it so far, that they will, before the election, lower the corporate tax rate to try to get some support of businesses that have soured on them. But what do they, when you come out and say this is what we need, what do they tell you face to face, mano a mano?
Well, Gene Sperling said to me and several others in the room, the guiding principle of the administration is to improve the economic climate for factories. And that's when I had the exchange with Bryson. I said, it's critical that we get our tax rates fair. By the way, there was a gentleman there from Intel, and he said their tax rates are 32%, again, higher than the 18% over in Canada. He said they spend $4 billion a year in taxes, and it's a challenge for them to be as competitive as they could be.
By the way, you
want companies like Intel, you want companies like Marlin Steel growing and investing in our country.
Absolutely. Now, you had an exchange with Bill Daley, the exiting chief of staff, over the NLRB and Boeing. Tell us how that went, quickly.
Right. Well, what happened was I was with several manufacturers in the Roosevelt Room recently, last month, and we said the NLRB is a challenge for growth. It creates uncertainty. There's a lot of new regulations coming out of the NLRB, which are very unsettling to factory owners. And if you want to grow factories in America, you can't have these kinds of rules. Well, he said that you can't name one company in America that's been impacted by the NLRB since President Obama's been in office. And there was complete silence in the room, and I was stunned that he said that. And I said, well, Mr. Daley, what about Boeing in South Carolina? The elephant in the room was
Boeing, yeah.
Right. And he got red-faced, and he said to me, you know, I'm a former board member of Boeing, and it was negotiated, it was compromised. And my gut is that Boeing probably had challenges because of the NLRB, and they had to make agreements they probably wouldn't have made.
It's amazing.
If it wasn't.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's just amazing that it wasn't even on his radar screen, even though he was on the board there and everybody knew about it. All right, Drew, congratulations. At least somebody's talking to these people, what you're doing. Congratulations for doing that. I hope they invite you back often, and next time, listen with open ears. Drew Greenblatt from Marlin Steel. Great to see you again, Drew. Thanks.